filming. I'm at 489 subscribers, so hoping to pass the 500 mark soon. So yeah, getting there, creeping closer. Depending on which one, I feel like it was hard to get to 100 subscribers. Then like 100, 200 would be faster, 200 to 300. Then getting over that 300 mark was hard. And just like getting from 400 to 500, it's kind of getting slower. Hopefully we'll speed up again soon. But yeah, if you're new, thank you for joining, and if you've been here a while, thanks for the continued support. I see some people that continuously comment, and it's very helpful. It means the world to me, so thank you. And even if you don't comment, just like to be a silent viewer, that's fine too. Today, as you can probably tell by the title, we are back with, I say back, I haven't done this kind of video before, but I had this idea, I think I mentioned it in one of mine, but I had this idea when I don't know which video I was doing, but I was filming another video and I had this idea in the middle of the video. I think one person has done one kind of similar, like Pamela ASMR, but I didn't get the idea from her. I just looked up after. Sometimes I get the idea and then I see if anyone else has done it, and sometimes it's a popular thing, sometimes it's not. Also, while I'm at the start of the video, I'll mention this just because if I say at the end, you probably won't stick around to hear it. Like, not everyone reaches the end, which is fine, of course, fall asleep or whatever, but you're probably not asleep already. So just wanted to say, if you've any video ideas you'd like to see, I'd really appreciate you commenting them. I say I'm running out of ideas, but then again, I've got a good few coming your way. But yeah, there's some that I like to do repeats of, like I do the Am of the Assholes, I do the true crime, I do the map ones, I do the fact ones. So between that, but like if you've any other kind of things like that, I'd welcome the suggestions and I'll try to make it happen. If you do comment, I'm more likely to make it. I see all the comments, so I really appreciate requests and comments. If you like a certain kind of video, I'm more likely to do it again. Like, for example, the workout video I just posted, that's because I saw a comment on the other ones asking if I was doing it again, and I decided to do it again. It's just because it didn't get that many watch time hours. It got like 20 or so, but it didn't get that many, and I wasn't sure whether to do it again. And it does take a lot of like screenshotting. It takes a bit longer than my usual video, so I was unsure whether to do it or not again. But it's easy like to do. I just have to talk about the workouts, and I record them in the app whether I do the video or not, just for me anyway. So I already have all the data there. So I mean, technically I can do one soon enough because it's near the end of October, so I can do October soon enough. But the original one took a while because I was putting off editing it because it was taking a while. And September's one was later because I wasn't sure if I was going to do it or not. I just changed the ISO. I thought maybe it was a bit bright. It was for on a darker day or later in the day when I did this. Either way, yeah, today's video is weird or mysterious, kind of rare diseases, stuff like that, for different lists I found online, and also from asking ChatGPT. Of course, there's going to be some repeats between the lists, and then ChatGPT, I think it'll be mostly ChatGPT because I found two lists, 12 and then 20, but that's not a lot. And yeah, so hopefully there'll be enough for the video. But yeah, usually when I pack lists or whatever, so like for example the technology video I did, that was literally just, I found a few lists and stuff, but didn't even get to the end of the list in the 40 minutes. But yeah, I'm not sure how long this video will be. I guess around 40, the usual. I'm not going to try for an hour just because I have a few videos to film. I have quite a house, so I'm filming a few videos, I think 3 total. And as well, the other thing is I'm not really sure how many there will be, if there'll be enough for an hour anyway. Because when I was doing the other ones, I had compiled more lists and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna get straight into it. I'm not sure really what these are. Sorry if I pronounce anything wrong or if I say anything incorrect. It's just from lists online and AI. It sure can be mistakes. I don't know really anything about these. Probably haven't heard of any of them myself. But if you have any of them, I don't mean any disrespect, or if I get something wrong, sorry about that. So with my disclaimer done, I'm gonna get into the video. I think I'm just gonna read the little description of the article as well. So the first article is 12 weird and For centuries, humans have been constantly fascinated by the wonders of the body, often asking the questions, what is this part for? Can a human survive without this? What does it function like? Why does it function like that? These questions convey the eagerness to learn more about the human body. As nature has it, the human body is far from perfect, and it is fragile, and it is as fragile as it is tough. The human brain is the command center responsible for everything a body does, including breathing, lifting objects, running a marathon, swimming a mile, and storing all our thoughts and memories. However, ironically, it is the most delicate organ affected by Alzheimer's disease. As illnesses and conditions develop and sometimes evolve, so do the studies and research to treat them and save lives. However, despite the centuries of studies on the human body, many cases are still left undiscovered or are just being discovered today. Among the list of strange occurrences are these extremely rare and strange diseases. So the first is Otto Brewery syndrome. Otto Brewery syndrome, also known as the gut fermentation syndrome, is a strange medical condition where a person experiences intoxication from alcohol through abnormal gut fermentation in the small intestines caused by an overgrowth of specific types of fungus. The gut produces alcohol out of regular food and drinks containing carbohydrates, yeast, or bacteria that thrive in that part of the body. Symptoms include aches and pains, including in the stomach, bloating, changes in bowel movements, fatigue, nasal discharge, productive cough, or one that produces phlegm, and sinusitis. I'm not sure how to say that correctly, sorry about that. Problems with concentration, memory, and thought processes, sugar cravings. The main treatments for this condition are diet changes and reduction in simple sugars, refined carbohydrates, yeast products, and moldy food. In addition, a person with this condition may also need medications like vitamin and mineral supplements to address the nutritional deficiencies. So the next one is persistent sexual arousal syndrome. Persistent sexual arousal syndrome, PSAS, also called persistent genital arousal system, PGAD, causes people to live perpetually at the brink of an orgasm. The sensations are partially relieved through orgasm but may return suddenly within a few hours. PSAS can lead to constant physical pain, stress, and psychological difficulties due to an inability to carry out everyday tasks. Patients may suffer the following: anxiety, depression, distress, frustration, guilt, insomnia, and panic attacks. Treatment is usually prescribed to manage the symptoms, since the exact cause is not known yet. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is said to identify the triggers and provide some coping mechanisms and distraction techniques. In addition, changes in medication by removing drugs with herbal estrogen can help manage the condition. Next up is walking corpse syndrome. The walking corpse syndrome is also called the Cotard's syndrome, a neuropsychiatric disorder related to depression. This syndrome makes people believe that they are dead or missing their soul, organs, blood, or specific body parts. This syndrome is usually a symptom of another psychiatric condition rather than a disease on its own. Symptoms include attempts to self-harm, becoming speechless, delusions of immortality, delusions that one is dying, dead, or no longer exists, insensitivity to pain, patient stop speaking, refusal to eat as a result of their delusions of being dead, severe depression or sadness, melancholy, voices telling the patient he/she is dead or dying. Symptoms are usually managed through medication like antidepressants, antipsychotics, and anti-anxiety drugs, and therapy like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, talk therapy failed to work. Foreign accent syndrome. Foreign accent syndrome stems from a damage in the part of the brain associated with speech. This happens when a person suddenly wakes up speaking in a different accent. It is commonly caused by stroke, trauma, tumors, and other neurological conditions. The most common treatment will be speech therapy to help a person bring back their normal speaking ways, I guess, but I don't see how that could be like that problematic if they just had a different accent. Maybe if it affected them in different ways, but maybe they liked their old accent, but it doesn't seem that bad. Congenital insensitivity to pain. This disease is present from birth, which inhibits the ability to perceive physical pain. It is caused by mutations in specific genes, particularly in autosomal recessive pattern, which is 2 inherited gene mutations, one from each parent. People with this condition can feel the distinction between a sharp and a dull object in something cold and hot. However, one cannot sense that a hot beverage is already burning their tongue. Unfortunately, there is no known cure for this condition yet. Symptoms include loss of smell, decreased ability to sweat, hydrosis. So that may seem like that's a good thing, you don't feel pain all this, but then that means that you could, be hurting, you could have a problem, you could have broken something, or you could burn your tongue or whatever, but you won't know that, but it will still damage the body part or whatever it is, but you just won't feel it. Just because you don't feel it doesn't mean it's not a problem. So Stoneman syndrome, I think I may have heard of this before, maybe not. Fibrodysplasia ovation progressiva, FOP, sorry for that mispronunciation, or the Stoneman syndrome, is a rare condition wherein the body's connective tissues slowly turn into bones. It affects 1 in 2 million people and is caused by a gene mutation. The condition usually starts from the shoulders and neck, making its way down to the legs. A second bone grows over the first one in a process known as heterotopic ossification, HO. Surgical efforts to remove the second bone might trigger immense bone growth because of the invasiveness of the surgery. A person with the syndrome can lose mobility after a minor accident as bone growth is stimulated. Alice in Wonderland syndrome, AIWS. This neurological syndrome is also called the TOTS syndrome. This usually presents migraines that can distort a person's body image, including the size of the head, hands, and feet. Patients can also experience hallucinations and the feeling of time passing by slowly or quickly. Sadly, AIWS has no proven effective treatment yet. However, a treatment plan consists of migraine prophylaxis and a migraine diet may help. Hutchinson-Gilford progeria syndrome. The Hutchinson-Gilford progeria syndrome is an extremely rare condition wherein a person goes through a rapid appearance of aging beginning in childhood. It occurs in 1 in 4 million, with more than 131 cases reported in scientific literature globally since 1886. Its symptoms include aged-looking skin, alopecia, which is hair loss, brittle, fragile bones, kidney failure, joint abnormalities, loss of eyesight, loss of fat under the skin. There's no cure for this condition yet. However, in November 2020, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, approved Lonofarnib, a drug that can help reduce the risk of death due to this disease. Algabochuria, also known as black urine disease, is an inherited disorder that results in a buildup of a chemical called acid in the body, staining the tissues dark. In addition, the condition prevents the body from entirely breaking down two amino acids called tyrosine and phenylalanine that are responsible for body pigmentation. Sadly, there's no treatment/cure for this condition yet. Parasitic twinning happens when one of the fetuses stopped developing during pregnancy. The parasitic twin is attached to the other fetus and can grow recognizable body parts. To this day, there are still rare documented cases of this phenomenon for researchers to study. Pica. People with pica compulsively eat items that have no nutritional value. These items could be as harmless as ice and be as toxic as dried paint, chalk, and pieces of metal. This disorder occurs most often in children, pregnant women, and people with intellectual disabilities. It is said that the unusual cravings may be a sign the body is trying to replenish low nutrient levels. Several steps may be taken for proper treatment, such as laboratory tests to see which nutrients are lacking. If it stems from a psychological problem, a psychological evaluation may be done. Human werewolf syndrome. Hypertrichosis, also known as the werewolf syndrome, is characterized by excessive hair growth anywhere on a person's body, including the face. The hair growth is so thick that a person would resemble a werewolf. While many illnesses have been eradicated because of vaccines, this condition's cause remains unknown, and there is no existing cure or treatment to manage the symptoms. Symptoms include Lan-Ogo type of hair is very soft and fine, like that on the body of a newborn baby. It usually has no pigment. Terminal hair is long and thick and usually very dark. Vellus hair follicles are short that may be located anywhere but the soles of your feet, backs of your ears, lips, and palms, or on scar tissue. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next list. So I will read the intro again. You might not have heard of jumping Frenchman of Maine or Haley syndrome, but these diseases, syndromes, and disorders don't feel rare to the people and families afflicted with them. In fact, there are thousands of people who are deeply affected by the 1,000+ diseases covered in the National Organization for Rare Disorders (NO) database. Here we talk you through just a few. So the first one is jumping Frenchman of Maine. This very rare disorder is characterized by an unusual, extreme startle reaction. It was first identified in the late 1800s among an isolated group of French-Canadian lumberjacks. The exact cause of jumping Frenchman of Maine is unknown. One theory is that the disorder occurs because of an extreme conditioned response to a particular situation influenced by cultural factors. Next up, the next one is Barry-Romberg syndrome. In this acquired, not inherited disorder, skin and soft tissues on half of the face begin to shrink, atrophy, leading to a non-symmetrical appearance. Typically, symptoms first appear before age 20, and there is a great variation in the degree of severity. The cause of the syndrome, also known as HFA, progressive facial hemiatrophy, PRS, or Romberg syndrome, is unknown. CADA-SIL, cerebral autosomal dominant erythropathy with subcortical infarcts, leukoencephalopathy. I'm saying that so wrong, but that is a long name for disorder. But yeah, this rare genetic disorder causes multiple strokes in adults, even young adults, and may progress to cause cognitive impairment and dementia. The symptoms of CADA-SIL are caused by damage to small blood vessels, especially those in the brain, also known as hereditary multi-infarct dementia. The symptoms and progression of the disease vary widely. Okay, next up we've got Lesch-Nyhan syndrome. This disease deficiency of an enzyme. Symptoms include impaired kidney function, joint pain, and self-mutilating behavior such as lip and finger biting and or headbanging. Additional symptoms may include muscle weakness, hypotonia, uncontrolled muscle movements, and neurological impairment. Other names for it include HGPORT or HPORT deficiency or hypoxanthine guanine phosphorybosal transferase deficiency. Okay, next up we've got chronic Canada syndrome. Symptoms of this very rare disease include loss of taste, intestinal I'm not saying that right, but yeah, hair loss and nail growth problems. CCS occurs mostly in older people. There have been fewer than 400 cases reported in the past 50 years, primarily in Japan, but also in the US and other countries. Robinson-Mendenhall syndrome. This extremely rare genetic disorder is characterized by severe insulin resistance. Initial symptoms include abnormalities of the head and face, teeth, and nails. Other symptoms include skin abnormalities such as acanthosis nigricans, a skin disorder characterized by abnormally increased coloration, hyperpigmentation. In most cases, additional symptoms are present. Robinson-Mendenhall syndrome is inherited as an autosomal recessive trait according to Nord. Pseudomyxoma peritoni. This is a rare malignant growth characterized by progressive accumulation of mucus secreting tumor cells within the abdomen and pelvis. Symptoms include increase in size of the abdomen and abdominal pain. The disorder develops after a small growth bulb located within the appendix bursts through the wall of the appendix and spreads mucus, producing tumor cells throughout the surrounding airy surfaces. Other names for pseudomyxoma peritoni include calloid carcinoma, malignant appendical tumor, malignant large bowel tumor, peritoneal carcinomatis, and pseudomyxoma. Haley syndrome. This genetic disease is characterized by blisters and lesions that may come and go, usually healing without scarring. It becomes apparent after puberty and occurs because of mutation in a gene responsible for production of a protein essential for good skin health, also known as benign chronic familial pemphigus or HHG. Haley occurs due to a mutation in a specific gene that creates a protein that is essential for proper skin health, according to the Nord website. This disorder becomes apparent after puberty and symptoms can develop at any age. I feel like that was a bit of a repeat of itself in this second paragraph, but yeah. POEMS syndrome, or POEMS, is an acronym that stands for polyneuropathy affecting many nerves. Organomegaly, abnormal enlargement of an organ. Endocrinopathy, affecting certain hormone-producing glands. Monoclonal gammopathy, and skin defects. Symptoms include progressive weakness of the nerves in the arms and legs, enlarged liver or spleen, darkening of the skin, and excessive hair growth. Other names for the disorder include Crowe-Fugas syndrome, Takatsuki syndrome, and PEP syndrome. Menkes disease. This is a genetic disorder of copper metabolism. This is a genetic disorder of copper metabolism that is detectable before birth, follows a progressive degenerative path, and involves several organs of the body, but especially growth, unstable body temperature, and unusual color or texture of hair. Other names for the disease include copper transport disease, kinky or steely hair disease, or trichopoliodystrophy. Dandy-Walker malformation. This refers to a brain malformation that occurs during embryonic development of the cerebellum and fourth ventricle. Symptoms may include development delay, low muscle tone, hypotonia or spasticity, and poor coordination and balance. In addition, DWM is sometimes 20 to 80% associated with hydrocephalus, in which blockage of the normal flow of spinal fluid leads to excessive amounts of fluid accumulating in and around the brain. This leads to abnormally high pressure within the skull and swelling of the head and can lead to neurological impairment. Adult onset Still's disease. This rare autoinflammatory disorder, sometimes referred to as AOSID or Whistler-Van syndrome, affects the entire body. The cause is unknown. Affected individuals may develop episodes of high, spiking fevers, a pink or salmon-colored rash, joint pain, muscle pain, and sore throat. Episodes vary in frequency and severity. Pontocerebellar hypoplasia. This is a group of rare conditions characterized by prenatal development of an abnormally small cerebellum and brainstem, and is usually associated with profound intellectual disability. These diseases are uniformly fatal in early life. Only a few patients have reached their 20s or 30s. Wolman disease. This genetic disease is characterized by the complete absence of an enzyme required to break down certain fats in the body. These fats accumulate in tissues and organs, causing various symptoms that may include a swelling of the abdomen, vomiting, enlargement of the liver or spleen. Leukocyte adhesions deficiency, LAD syndromes. This is a group of diseases affecting the immune system. LAD syndromes are characterized by defects affecting how white blood cells respond and travel to the site of a wound or infection. Symptoms vary from person to person, but all who are affected develop an increased susceptibility to recurrent bacterial and fungal infections. Necrotizing fasciitis. This is a rare but very severe type of bacterial infection that can destroy muscles, skin, and underlying tissues. Necrotizing refers to something that causes tissue death. These infections can be sudden, vicious, and fast spreading, and if not treated quickly, can lead to toxic shock syndrome. Other names for the disease include flesh-eating bacteria or disease and streptococcal gangrene. Hyperferritinema cataract syndrome. This genetic disease is characterized by early onset of cataracts associated with persistent elevated levels of a protein known as ferritin in the blood plasma. The mutation associated with the disease is inherited as an autosomal dominant trait, and cataracts are the only known complications associated with this rare disease. Mowat-Wilson syndrome. This is a rare genetic disorder that may be apparent at birth or in the first year of life. It is characterized by mental retardation, distinctive facial features, and seizures. The presence of the syndrome may not be realized until childhood or early adulthood. Some affected individuals may also have a gastrointestinal disease known as Hirschsprung disease. Erdheim-Chester disease. This is a rare multi-system disease of adulthood. It is characterized by excessive production and accumulation of histocytes, a type of cell within multiple tissues and organs. The underlying cause is unknown. Segua syndrome. This rare genetic disorder is characterized by an uncoordinated or clumsy manner of walking and dystonia, a general term for a group of muscle disorders characterized by involuntary contractions. Symptoms usually become apparent around 6 years of age, may be more noticeable in the afternoon or evening than in the morning. So now we are going to be moving on to the list generated by AI for me. So I'm going to skip ones that we've done before. Hopefully there's not too many repeats. So the first 4, 5, 6 were all repeats, but I'm going to go on to the ones that aren't. So the 7th one on the list isn't a repeat, so exploding head syndrome. Although this was in a different video related to sleep, I'll repeat it here. Exploding head syndrome is a sleep disorder in which individuals experience loud imaginary noises such as explosions or crash as they fall asleep or wake up. While the sounds are purely sensory and not harmful, they can be distressing and disorientating. Alien hand syndrome. Alien hand syndrome is a rare neurological condition where one hand behaves involuntarily, seemingly with a mind of its own. Individuals with this disorder may find that one of their hands performs actions or movements without their conscious control, leading to challenging and sometimes comical situations. Aquagenic urticaria. Aquagenic urticaria is a rare condition where skin contact with water, regardless of temperature, leads to the development of hives and painful skin rashes. The symptoms occur shortly after exposure to water and can be quite uncomfortable. That was really annoying because, you can go swimming, but also just, showering. Morgellons disease. Morgellons disease is a controversial and poorly understood condition characterized by individuals claim that they have fibrous threads or foreign materials emerging from their skin. It's often associated with delusional infestations. The exact cause and nature of the condition remains a subject of debate and research. Stiff person syndrome. Stiff person syndrome is a neurological disorder that results in muscle stiffness and spasms, leading to difficulty in movement. The condition can be associated with psychological distress and is often managed through a combination of medication and therapy. Goro syndrome. Goro syndrome, also known as penis panic, is a psychological disorder characterized by the irrational belief that one's genitals are retracted into the body, potentially leading to death. This condition often occurs in cultural contexts where concerns about genital shrinkage are prevalent. Huntington disease. Huntington disease is a genetic disorder that progressively affects the brain and nervous system, leading to a range of motor, cognitive, and psychiatric symptoms. It is caused by a mutation in the HTT gene and typically emerges in mid-adulthood, resulting in a decline in motor coordination, mental function, and emotional stability. And I know this one because it was in a show I was watching, Biohackers. One of the characters had this and they were looking for a cure, even though a cure doesn't exist in real life. It was in the show they were looking for one. Prader-Willi syndrome. Prader-Willi syndrome is a complex genetic disorder that affects many parts of the body. It is characterized by intellectual disabilities and insatiable appetite, leading to obesity and behavioral issues. Individuals with Prader-Willi syndrome often require a structured environment to manage their condition effectively. Narcolepsy. I've heard of this one. Narcolepsy is a neurological disorder that affects sleep regulation. People with narcolepsy experience excessive daytime sleepiness, often leading to sudden, uncontrollable sleep attacks. Additionally, they may have cataplexy, sudden muscle weakness, and a vivid dream-like experiences during wakefulness or falling asleep. And we talked about this in my sleep facts video. Fragile X syndrome. Fragile X syndrome is a genetic disorder that causes intellectual disabilities, social and behavioral challenges, and various physical characteristics. Is a leading inherited cause of intellectual disabilities and autism spectrum disorders. Sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia is a genetic blood disorder that causes red blood cells to become misshapen and break down, leading to anemia, pain, and a range of other health complications. As most common individuals of African, Middle Eastern, or Mediterranean descent, and I'm pretty sure we did this in my biology class in school. Charcot Marrow-tooth disease, Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease, a group of inherited disorders that affect the peripheral nerves, leading to muscle weakness and atrophy, as well as problems with sensation and balance. Is one of the most common inherited neurological disorders. Common. Do you want common though? Oh wait though, sorry. So these actually may be kind of common. I'm not sure though, because the last few I did, I said here 10 more diseases in AI and they did 10 more. But sometimes when you've asked AI already, it remembers the adjectives used to describe, so it will remember weird and rare. But I'm not sure if those last ones were weird and rare. But yeah, please excuse if they weren't. But yeah, that is the end of the video. Either way, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm trying to think of different things, like similar to the facts video vibes, but different topics, not all just facts, different things, like the laws one did quite well. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe for more whispered content if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.